Wave Goodbye, an original story by Ruth Rouse. I tug my jacket closer around me, fighting against the wind blowing in from the sea. My hair flies about my face, being whipped in all directions by the icy gusts. I don't care. It's not like anyone's going to see me out here anyway. Despite the sun beating down on us, it's freezing. You wouldn't believe it was summer. Cassie, will you hurry up? We need to get this over with. Mum's being snappy again. The 5-hour drive to get here has done nothing to improve her mood. But here we are. The beach where my grandparents met. Allegedly. I don't remember Grandad ever mentioning visiting Scotland, let alone anywhere this remote. We're almost as far north as you can go and still be on the mainland. I guess it must have been nicer back then. That, or people were just less fussy. Maybe when holidays abroad weren't the norm. But still, it's cold, windy and... Mum! I hiss. There's a naked man over there. I resist the urge to point. Cassie, leave it! Mum's warning voice. She's in a foul mood. It's bad enough that I had to drive all this way to scatter your grandmother's ashes without you worrying about every little thing. I am not driving home, only to come all the way back again, just because some guy doesn't like tan lines. This'll only take 5 minutes, and then we can go find a pub. I am not, she hugs the container, Grandma, closer to her chest, turning back now. Maybe she's cold too. Maybe there is something strange about this place. Why couldn't we put her in the cemetery with Grandad, I ask, even though I already know the answer. Beats me. Her will stated unequivocally that we were to take her here and scatter her ashes in the sea on Midsummer's Eve. Goodness knows why, but apparently it was your grandma's dying wish to inconvenience us all. Do you think it could be because of the seals, I ask? Grandma loved seals. She had mugs, figurines, you name it. We still haven't managed to find homes for them all. There's only so many seal-related items you can take to the charity shop before they tell you they've got enough. Even as I spoke, several small dark heads were appearing in the waves, watching us with large brown eyes, bobbing up and down with the flow of the tide. Goodness knows if it was. Why couldn't she have picked a beach nearer home instead of making me drive all the way up here? We still get seals further south. She was losing it towards the end, you know. Even tried telling me that Grandad wasn't my father, that she'd spent the night with a selkie. A sell what? I ask. But Mum isn't listening. She's too busy trying to wrestle the lid off Grandma one-handed. A selkie, says a calm voice from beside me. I jump and look round. It's the man I saw before, though now he has tied something dark and leathery around his waist. There's no sign of any other clothes that I can see. He must live nearby. He's younger than I first thought, and handsome too. He looks to be in his 20s, not much older than me, with a well-toned body and... Mum must be right. I can't see a single tan line on him. His dark hair is wet and slicked back from his face. Perhaps he went for a dip earlier. He's braver than me if he did. I bet that water's freezing. I realise I'm staring and shake my head to clear the fog. I'm sorry, what did you say? A selkie, one of the seal folk. They say they come here, shed their seal skins and sun themselves on the sand. Have you ever seen one? I ask, more to be polite than anything else. He lets out a laugh that's more like a bark. Ha! Our paths cross on occasion. They're shy, though. You have to be special to get close to them. He smiles, and I feel my insides melt. Maybe this trip wasn't such a bad idea. I'm sorry if we disturbed your sunbathing. I try in vain to smooth my hair down, but as soon as I move my hand, it's back to dancing around my head. He stares at me for a second with large brown eyes that seem familiar, but I don't know why. I wonder if I've said something wrong. Your grandmother, he asks at length. Was she known as Joan? Yes. How did you... You look a lot like her. There is a hint of sadness in his words, though I have no idea why. How could he possibly have known Grandma? And even if he did know what she looked like when she was my age? Maybe an older relative had shown him a holiday photo or something. How did you know her? We met once. Here, a long time ago. I stare at him. He's too young. Something doesn't make sense. Do you live near here? Cassie, will you get over here and help me? Mum is back to being annoyed. I excuse myself and go hold the pot while she unscrews the lid, and then hand it over so she can upend it into the foaming water. The fine grey powder, all that is left of Grandma, spills away to be carried out to sea. What were you saying earlier about a sulky mum? I wasn't listening. It doesn't matter now. It's all nonsense anyway, just a fantasy. Let's go find that pub. I think we both need a drink after that. I nod and turn back to the man, except he's not there anymore. We're alone on the beach except for a large grey seal racing towards the waves.